Pop, what year were you born?
I was born in 1923.
And where were you born?
Where was I born? A little town about 75 miles north of Denver called Fort Collins.
How long did you stay there?
I don't really know. I don't remember anything about it.
What brought you to California?
My father decided to bring the family out to California in about 1928 or 9.
How old were you when you came to California?
Well, my old man brought us to California, I think around 1928 or 9. So I would have been
Maybe 6 or 7 years old?
maybe a little later, older than that, maybe 8.
Where did you move to in California?
Well, the first really permanent place we moved was on I forget the name of the street now.
What was the city?
Los Angeles.
How long?
Never lived anywhere but Los Angeles in California.
At some point, did you leave California and move back to Colorado?
Yeah, we did after my father died. We went back to Colorado for a while.
Did you like Colorado?
No,
Why not?
cold weather.
Why do you like living in California?
Nice weather.
Do you remember how old you were when your dad died?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I, I I think I was around 13, but I'm not sure about that.
Do you remember how your dad died?
Yeah,
How did he die?
he took his own life.
Do you know why he took his own life?
Why he did it? No. I don't think he ever left a note or anything like that.
After you went back to Colorado, how long were you there for?
Until the day I graduated high school. The day after I graduated high school, I was on a bus for California.
Who did you live with when you came back to California by yourself?
I had an aunt, Irene, and who was a wonderful person. One of those sweetest persons you will ever meet. And I lived with her for, well, till the war came along. When the war came along, of course, I was in the Navy.
What do you remember about your mother, Molly?
My mother, she was the most remarkable woman. When after my father died, she hadn't worked for close to 30 years, and she finished and she raised 3 more kids.
What did she do for a living?
She was a stenographer.
Where was she from?
Uh, I think she was born in New York City, but she spent probably most of her life in Denver before we moved to California.
Was she smart?
Huh?
Was she smart?
Yeah,
Did she like to play cards?
yeah, good card player. All kind of bridge, poker, you name it, she could do it.
What was her favorite card game?
Bridge, I think.
How old was she when she passed away?
104.
What did you think when you heard the news about Pearl Harbor?
We'll kill those goddamn Japs.
Did you sign up for the Navy right after Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you know there was going to be a draft?
A draft? Oh, sure. Everybody knew there'd be a draft.
What made you join the Navy?
Because I wanted a clean place to sleep and a hot meal.
Why does the Navy give you that?
Well, because if you were in the Army, you ate what they gave you, cold meal usually.
Did you like being in the Navy?
In a way, yes.
How long were you in for?
I think something over 3 years.
What was your job?
Well, when I first went aboard ship, we have what you call a log room, and I was the guy who was the log room yeoman at that time. A yeoman is like a secretary, and as he was much older, he was resentful that he was in the Navy because he figured he didn't belong there. But anyway,
What did you do in this log room?
it would be like a stenographer or secretary.
Was it because you could type?
Yes. Yeah, if I couldn't type, I wouldn't have been there.
How long were you in that position?
About 3 years, I think.
Did you have any other positions?
Well, I finally talked my way out of there and went down to the engine room.
What did you do in the engine room?
Oh, a little bit of everything that the engine room guy does. He get the ship fired up.
What was your title while you were working in the engine room?
And machinist mate.
What rank machinist mate?
Well, when the war was over, I was a machinist mate first class.
What was the name of your ship?
George Clymer.
Were you on the same ship the whole time?
Yeah, I spent the whole war on that ship.
What type of ship was it?
Uh, well, what the hell would you technically call it? I don't know.
Was it a troop transport?
Basically, yes.
When did you get out of the Navy?
Uh, a few days after the war ended, and I don't remember exactly when that was.
Do you remember when they dropped the atomic bomb on Japan?
We were, the ship had finally returned to the States. I'd been out of the States for 3 years, and finally the ship returned to the States for a minor overhaul, and I think we were up in San Francisco.
What did you think of them bombing Japan?
Hard to say. I always thought that we would never probably have bombed the Germans, but they were different.
Were you happy they bombed Japan?
I was happy that we did anything that ended the war.
What was your favorite port?
Well, we didn't get to port very often, so it's hard to say that too.
Did you ever go to the Philippines?
Yeah,
Did you like the Philippines?
yeah, they were all right.
Did you ever go to Australia?
No, went to New Zealand, which is pretty close to Australia.
Did you like New Zealand?
Yes, very much.
Why did you like New Zealand?
Nice people, good-looking girls. They were well. How do you say it? All of the New Zealand men were in Europe,
So the New Zealand girls liked the American boys?
and so the New Zealand girls didn't have any boyfriends. They took to American men. Yeah,
Did you have a girlfriend in New Zealand?
not really.
Did you go out on any dates with New Zealand girls?
A few, not many. I wasn't much of a lover in those days.
I don't believe that for a second. I'm sure you were quite the Casanova in your day.
No, I wasn't really. I wasn't.
Why did your brother, Uncle Dick, go into the army?
He got drafted. Dick got drafted in the army.
Did he try to go to the Navy?
No, Dick at first, when the war first come along, Dick was what do you call it?
Medically unfit?
Yeah, that's what they said.
What was wrong with him?
I think they said at first he had a heart murmur. But then they finally decided that he didn't, and they took him in the service. By that time, the war was nearing its end.
What do you remember about Anne?
Well, she was a lovely woman, a good wife. What more can you say about?
What did you two enjoy doing together?
Most everything we did together.
Did you go on any trips together?
Yeah, we drove back east a couple times.
Where did you go when you drove back east?
Oh, mostly in the Midwest.
Why would you two go to the Midwest?
Well, she had relatives there.
Was Anne close to her grandkids?
Yeah,
Do you remember which ones?
all of them. She was crazy about their grandchildren. Grandchildren, no, she was crazy about them.
They were all crazy about her.
Yeah, that's very true.
I want to talk about Kathy as a teenager. What was she like growing up?
Uh, Kathy and I sometimes had trouble with each other, but she was a nice girl.
Was she a difficult teenager?
A little bit, yeah.
Did she ever try to have her boyfriend sneak in the house?
Huh?
Did she have her boyfriend sneak in the house?
She had a boyfriend try to sneak in the house.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about that story. Can you tell me that story?
Well, I don't remember it well, except that I caught him trying to crawl in her bedroom window.
Did Kathy get in trouble?
Probably. I don't remember that well. That was good many years ago.
Did she have a lot of boyfriends?
Yeah. Well, like I say, we lived in Culver City before I moved here.
How long did you live in Culver City before moving here?
I think 3, 4 years.
Where did you live in Culver City? What was the address?
Oh, right off Washington Boulevard. Address was 3333 Fay Avenue.
Why did you move out of the Culver City house?
Kind of like this house a little better. I bought the house. I don't remember when I bought it.
What work have you done to the house?
Well, a lot of things. I put that front porch on. I built the porch, and
What else have you done?
I'm trying to think. Tomorrow I'll think of it.
Did you add a closet to the back room?
Oh, no, that was done by, I think, the original owner of the guy I bought the house from was I think was the original owner.
Why did you decide to move to this house?
Well, I don't know. My sister lived over in this area. In fact, she lived just 3 houses down.
Did your sister's kids come over to the house
Oh,
often?
sure. Yeah, they got along pretty well together.
Would you say that you're good with your hands and at fixing things?
Very.
What kind of things did you make?
Oh, I don't know. You go out front on the front porch. I built the front porch, you might say. Uh, I'm very good with my hands.
What about a hat rack?
Hat rack?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one right there by the front door. I built that was one of the first things I built when we moved in here. That hat rack, coat rack,
What about a toy box?
toy box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I built a couple of those.
What about a playhouse?
Playhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the kids never played in them.
What was your favorite type of tool?
Gosh, I don't know. I liked tools, period, and I don't know that I had a favorite tool, but I did like tools, and I liked building things, and I was pretty good at it.
Where did you learn how to build things?
Just learned it.
Did anybody teach you how to use tools?
No, no, my father was when he of course he didn't live very long, but I don't think he taught me anything. I mostly learned by myself. When I got to California, and I guess it was 1941, I got here on a Friday, I think, and I got a job on Saturday, and I only worked at that place for about 40 years.
What was the name of the place?
Gold Seal Auto Parts.
What was your job there?
Well, after I got known a little bit, I ran the place selling auto parts. I was a good auto parts man. I had salesmen come in and tell me I was the best auto parts guy in Los Angeles.
What kind of cars?
Any kind.
What made you leave the auto parts business?
Well, I got a little bit tired of it, but I
What was your job after the auto parts business?
went to the hardware store with my brother.
What kind of hardware store was it?
Well, it was just a hardware store. Interesting. I like that kind of stuff anyway.
What was it called?
Dick's True Value Hardware.
Why was it called Dick's True Value and not Stan's True Value?
Well, because he was there for several years before I went into it.
What kind of services did you offer at the hardware store? Installations and the like?
Not really. We used to make window screens, and if somebody come in and wanted a screen or a set of screens, why we could make arrangements for them to have it done.
How long did you work at the hardware store?
I'm not sure. Things started to break up a little bit, and
Why did you leave the hardware store?
that's about the time we retired.
Were you an owner of the hardware store?
Yeah. Uh, Jimmy took it over, and
Did you get along with your brother?
yeah, yeah, we never had any problem.
Who was the boss at the hardware store?
Well, I suppose you could say he really was. He's the guy that started it up and kept it going while when I was doing something else.
Did you like the hardware store as much as you did the auto parts business?
Hard to say. God, I as many years as I spent in the auto parts business, I was pretty fond of it. I like the auto parts business.
Who was your favorite neighbor?
I think the colored man that lives right next door here, named John Smith, which I kidded him about.
What did you like about him?
He was just about the nicest man I ever met, really. He, I just liked him a lot. We'd have a drink every once in a while together. He was just a nice man.
What would he drink?
I don't know. Gin, I think.
What would you drink?
Probably the same thing. I'm not much of a drinker, and I would probably have drunk the same thing he did.
Was Johnny married?
Yeah, married, had a daughter, good-looking colored girl daughter.
What was his wife's name?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. And she was a nice gal too. Every year at Christmas time, she'd fix up a dish of something for us.
Was it black-eyed peas?
I believe that was one of the things. Yeah,
Was it good?
yeah. She was a nice woman, very nice.
What was his daughter's name?
I don't remember that,
Was it Debbie?
Debbie. Who give you all this information?
Kathy.
Oh,
Did Debbie get married?
uh, yeah. Debbie, like I said, colored girl, but she married a white guy, and they got along fine.
Did you ever own a motorhome?
Yeah.
Did you ever take it anywhere?
Yeah, we went on a couple of trips with it.
Palm Springs?
Yeah. Went to Palm Springs a couple times.
Did you ever go camping in Yosemite?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we loved Yosemite.
How often would you go?
I don't know. We go fairly often. Very fond of Yosemite.
What was your favorite place in Yosemite?
Gee, I don't know. Just about all of it. I was very crazy about Yosemite.
Did Anne like Yosemite?
Yes, she did.
What about Kathy and Joan? Did they like Yosemite?
Yeah, I think everybody did. Well, what's not to like about Yosemite?
What were some of the things that you did in Yosemite?
Oh, yeah. You hiked around there. It was just a nice place to be.
Did you see any bears?
Uh, I'm pretty sure we did.
What about the firefalls?
Well, when we first went up there, the firefalls still falling, but then they discontinued the firefall. I don't know, some bullshit about dangerous. I don't know why.
Did you stay in a tent when you went camping in Yosemite?
I think we might have stayed in a tent occasionally.
A tent or tent cabin?
Yeah, well, they had tent cabins, and we stayed in sometimes in those tent cabins.
Did you ever ride a mule or a donkey?
Donkey. Well, you could rent those, which we did a few times, and you take a long ride on them.
Where would you go on the donkey?
They're just up through the hills.
Did you ever go to the waterfalls while riding the donkey?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did you ever go rafting down the river?
There was some of that, but it would depend on the winter before how much water there was. If there wasn't much water, you'd not much to go rafting for or with.
What was your favorite car?
Favorite automobile?
Yeah.
I guess Chevrolet.
Why was Chevy the best?
Well, because it pretty much had everything and was most inexpensive car.
Did you own a Chevrolet?
Yeah, I had a Chevrolet, had a Mercury.
Do you remember what model Chevy or Mercury you had?
No, not anymore. I went back to Detroit and picked up the Mercury. I always wanted to do that, and so one year I made arrangements and went back to Detroit and picked up a Mercury.
Did you drive it all the way back home?
Yeah,
How long did it take you?
about about 3 4 days. I took it easy, of course. It was brand new, and I wasn't about to over indulge the damn thing. I mean, I just I like the car.
Do you remember what model it was?
Well, Mercury didn't have too many models.
Do you remember what year it was?
Uh, I should know that, but I don't.
Do you like to drive?
Do I like to drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like to drive. Yeah, and then when I couldn't drive anymore, I missed it.
What's your favorite sport to watch on TV?
Probably baseball.
Who is your favorite baseball team?
Dodgers.
How long have you been a Dodgers fan?
How long have they been in Los Angeles?
Have you gone to watch them play ever since they first came to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Did you have season tickets to the Dodgers?
No. It's pretty expensive. I couldn't really afford season tickets.
Did you go to a lot of games?
Not a lot, no. But I listened to most every game.
Did you like watching them on TV or listening to them better?
Watching them on TV.
How are the Dodgers doing in 2017?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I hear that the Dodgers are beating the Giants.
Well, the Dodgers and the Giants are great enemies.
What was your favorite sport to play?
Tennis.
Were you any good at tennis?
No.
Who would you play against?
Anybody, everybody.
Would you play against your brother Dick?
Huh? He never cared much about tennis.
Did you enjoy bowling?
Yeah, bowled a lot. I still like to bowl.
Were you good at bowling?
I wasn't bad, yeah. I was pretty good.
What was your highest game?
Somewhere around 250, I think.
Did you bowl in a league?
Yeah.
Was it all men or was it a co-ed league?
Oh, no. No women.
Who did you go bowling with?
Just myself. I along about September, why the leagues would open up.
What about blue chip bowling?
Oh yeah, we did that for a long time.
What is blue chip bowling? Can you explain it to me?
Well, you bowled um, for blue chips, and then you traded the blue chips in for various things.
Did you win anything good?
Yeah, I was pretty good. But I was a pretty good bowler.
Did you ever play baseball?
Yes, not on any great level, but I used to like baseball.
What about softball?
Yeah,
Who did you play with?
well, depends on the age. When I was pretty young, I played with pretty much kids my own age.
Did you like to read?
Yeah, I used to love to read. When I was young, would read a book a week,
What kind of books did you like to read?
any kind of book. I used to just love to read.
Who was your favorite author?
I don't remember that at all. I just used to like to read.
How did you get into reading?
I don't know. From as far back as I can remember, I like to read.
Where would you usually read?
At home.
Was there a spot in your house where you used to read at?
Huh?
Was there a favorite spot in your house where you used to read at?
I can't remember that.
Do you remember reading out on the couch in the living room?
Probably. That's probably where I did most of my reading.
Where did you listen to the radio?
Same place.
Was that your favorite spot in the house?
I guess it was, yeah. Most of the dogs that I ever had, I was very fond of. A favorite dog was a black lab that we had just a few years ago. I loved that dog. She was the nicest animal I ever saw. She was just sweet. She was a sweet, sweet animal. The first really big dog was Patty. I used to take her for a walk in the morning, and for years later, I used to take my morning walk. I'd see guys that would remind me that they used to see me every morning with a dog. Yeah, I used to give her the leash, and a guy from I guess what do they call it? Animal control, I guess. He'd see me every once in a while, and he'd tell me, "That's cute, but don't let her off the leash." She used to carry her own leash. She never stepped off the curb, until I did, or tell her okay. She was very good. She was probably the nicest dog I ever had. Yes, she loved the beach. If it's anything she loved more than water, I don't know what it was. She just loved to go to the beach. If we head out towards the beach, as soon as she realized we were heading down towards the beach, she got excited. Throw stuff out in the water for her to retrieve. You could throw a stick of wood out as far as you could throw it, or a rubber ball. She never came back without it. Patty didn't like to sleep with us because didn't like, we were too restless for her. She slept alongside the bed on a I don't know what it was we had down there, but she would sleep there. Kelly? Well, we got past to Kelly. Steve Wilson, I don't know, somehow passed her off. It was his dog, but somehow we got passed off to her. She was a nice dog, yes. I forget the brand. What was it? Cocker Spaniel, yeah.
How do you want everyone to remember you?
He was a nice guy.
So you don't want them to know the truth.
No. No,
So really just a nice guy?
a nice guy and a good neighbor.
Were you a good husband?
Was I a good husband? I believe so, yeah.
Were you a good father?
I hope so. I hope my kids thought I was a good father.
Were you a good grandfather?
Same. I used to pick my kids up from school every day.
Who did you pick up from school?
With my grandkids.
Do you remember which ones?
Guys, most of them.
That's right.